Hey, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Jaylee, and in today's video I'm gonna talk about how to prepare for the interview or the sales calls to gain and to win over any clients that you want. So keep on watching. And also, before make sure to subscribe at the end of the video if you enjoy it, and if you would like to continue watching tutorials and videos about productivity, marketing, time management, project management, and everything in between. And finally, don't forget to follow me on Instagram because I share daily tips on my Instagram stories. Plus, you can ask me any questions that you want over there. And also, make sure to stick until the end because I'm gonna share with you a little gift that you don't want to miss out. If you haven't watched my previous video about how to get clients on Upwork, make sure to check it out first because it's the second part. This is nailing the interview. So you will want to learn first how to get the clients and how to find them and all the tips that I have for you, and then come back to this video. Tip numero 1, have a notebook and a pencil in hand. You need to take notes because when you're competing in a sea of freelancers and you need to stand out by having a notebook and a pencil when you are conducting this interview or these sales calls, it's a really good way to show them that you care and that they are preparing yourself and that you are truly trying to understand everything they're saying. And even if your notes are a mess or even if you don't know how to write pretty, it doesn't matter. Because look at my notebook, it's a mess. It's like a rumble of words and everything. But I make the effort to show that I care, that I'm actually willing to take my time and annotate my questions, keywords, or anything that comes out in the interview that is gonna help me understand my clients' struggle better. And most people don't do that. They just listen, or they just talk. But there is no actual okay, I need to write this down, this is important. And by doing that, you're showing your client that extra care, that extra importance that you're giving to them. And it's not gonna be tricky at first because you're not used to talk and write at the same time, and maybe you're afraid you're gonna seem like you're not paying attention because you're spending too much time in the notebook. But here's the thing, you don't have to annotate full sentences. You just need to annotate keywords that will make the client first understand that you are caring, that you are really making an effort to understand the struggle and annotate the important points. And second, it's gonna help you not forget important things. Let's say that I interview lasting an hour. There was a lot of talking during that hour, right? So you need to make sure that you don't forget key points, and by having a notebook and just annotated quick ideas, it's gonna serve you so much better in the future. Trust me on this one. Tip número 2. Have questions prepared beforehand. I've been in both ends of the spectrum. I've hired and I've been hired. When I'm hiring and I see that the person at the end of the interview doesn't have any questions at all, it tells me 3 things. First, that they didn't listen or understand what I said. Second, they seem arrogant and know-it-all. Third, they're going to do a bad job because they didn't make sure they understand fully the instructions of the job. Because even if it is a recap at the end, you need to make sure you are asking questions, even if you need to make sure you understand your client's struggles. And only by asking questions is how you're gonna do that. And don't worry, I have 5 questions that you can ask during the interview as an example. So the first one is, tell me a bit about you, your company, and what you do. This is really important because you are understanding what their main purpose is. What are they doing for business, and you understand in their own words what they do. Second is, in which stage are you in? For example, if they're a startup, if they're a veteran, if they are just starting out, if they are having troubles, what stage are they in? Third one, what is your main struggle and what solutions do you want to find? Because when someone wants to hire someone, they are looking for something in particular. You need to find what that is. Why do they think they need you? In your case, you could be a graphic designer. What are they looking to gain from that? If they are looking at video editor, if they're looking for a social media manager, what is that they need that make them come to the conclusion that they will need to find help? Fourth one, what are the main goals you have for this job? This one is very important because you want to avoid clients who don't know what to expect. Some clients just don't have clear the outcome, and those are the type of clients who are gonna ask you for too many revisions, or who are gonna ask you too many questions about the job. They don't even know what they want. So this is a really important qualifying question to know that this is the right client for you. 5. What are the expected deliverables? Because if you are a graphic designer, a web developer, or a video editor, the deliverables are very straightforward, right? You create a website, you create an edited video, whatever it is, it's very straight, very obvious what it is. But there are some type of freelancers, in my case, for example, when I used to do marketing, where the results were more all over the place, or they needed to be specific, otherwise the project was gonna get bigger. So if you are, for example, a social media manager, a marketing, a Facebook ads manager, like someone who handles like a more complex project, or not complex, like many parts involving, you need to make sure you are setting clear expectations for the beginning. For example, it could be the number of leads you can get, like what is the budget, what can they expect with that amount of money, or how many hashtags are you going to find them, like whatever it is, try to make it as tangible as possible, no matter what type of work you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to end up doing way more work than you sign up for, just because those initial goals and deliverables weren't clear at the beginning. So those initial questions are the ones who are going to make the interview happening, like the ones who are going to keep the ball rolling. But after they give you those answers, you're going to ask at least 3 follow-up questions. And that's when it comes in handy having your notebook. Because if you don't have a notebook to write out the keywords or questions that came out during these initial questions, you won't be able to ask them again. So keep the notebook and then ask the questions. Don't forget. Try to be also very mindful with the questions you're asking. You don't want to be asking repetitive questions about things that you already specified in the job posting, or you don't want to ask minutia like where do I find the files. No, like the interview, the sales call, this initial point of contact with your client is to understand the big picture. You don't want to like get caught up in the details. You want to understand fully their struggle so you can actually deliver the work that they want, because the details can be sorted out later on once you're hired. Don't worry about it in the main interview, and it's gonna make them realize that you went beyond what was posted in the job description. That's gonna show an extra value to them, something that is small but it caught your attention and it can be useful for the project once they explain you more about it. And sometimes at the end they might ask you if you have way more questions and you don't have any more. All you can say is that you're going to have more questions once you start fully working on the project. Tip número 3. Look presentable. When you're competing in a sea of freelancers, you need to stand out and look very professional. Because if you want to charge premium prices, you need to look the part. So if you're a guy, I would suggest to use a button-up shirt instead of a t-shirt or a sweater. And if you're a woman, make sure to use a piece of jewelry, like a necklace, a ring, or even a watch that is gonna make you feel more confident and professional in the way you look. Because even if you're not working in corporate anymore, you still need to look professional, and it doesn't hurt to put extra effort even for a half an hour interview. Tip número 4. Have a good background and lighting. So first, let's talk about the background. Avoid any cables or any distracting backgrounds. If you have like more people in your house, try to make the camera face the wall so they don't see people passing by. Try to avoid like a towel or like any sort of disorganization in the background, because even if the focus in the interview is you, they might just wander around in their eye to see what else is in the room. And if you're giving them too much to look at, like your books or like other distracting things, and if those things are not organized, it's gonna actually hurt the interview, because they're gonna think of you as a disorganized person, and you don't want that. So unless you have like a really clean background, for example like this one, or like a library, try to use a flat wall. Like it's better to have a flat wall behind you than people passing by and all these other distractions during the interview. So now in the second part, you also need to make sure that you have the right lighting and the right face angle. So for the lighting, make sure to book the calls or make yourself available as possible when you have daylight in your house or in the interview place. It's gonna make your face look so much better, so much polished compared if you just do it by night. If you for sure cannot do it by day, try to use a light that is very bright but not overly bright that is gonna make your face look like strange or overly white. For example, you can use a yellow light because it's gonna give you like a warm effect to your face. And the truth is, people need to see your face, so you need to fix your lighting. People cannot trust other people unless you see your face, because people don't trust you unless they see your face, and they need to see your face clearly because they are not gonna be able to connect with you otherwise. Okay? And also make sure to smile. Like, it doesn't hurt anyone. You don't have to be like a robot talking like ta 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 all the time. You need to actually have a good time, make it more light, like don't stress out about it. It's a conversation with someone, and try to just approach it in the most friendly way possible. And bonus point if you make them laugh. So if you can have like a very quick joke or something that have worked for you before in another interview, try to recreate it, because nothing builds more connection with someone than when you make them laugh. And you might even think it's weird because it's an interview, it's a sales call, you're working a project and you don't want to look like too loose. The truth is you do. You want to look friendly, you want to look approachable, you want to make sure that people enjoy working with you, and laugh is the best method to do that. Trust me on this one. And at the beginning, I know it might be tricky. Okay, where do I find the right lighting? Where do I find the right setting? You can just move your computer around. Like most of the people will have a laptop and they can just like change it places. Or if you don't have a laptop, move your desk for a more suitable background or a suitable place, either for your face and for the things they see behind you. Other thing you can try is to move your laptop around the house and try to find the best background, the best lighting, like something that is favorable for your face and that you look professional, you look nice. And yeah, so just give it yourself a few minutes to try it out, different backgrounds, and see what works for you. And if you don't have a laptop, try to move your desk around. Even in your room, you have 4 walls. Some of the walls might be different because the lighting. So sometimes the lighting is in the ceiling, like right in the middle. Other times it's not. Sometimes it's in the wall. So you need to find and move your computer and your desk around until you find the right lighting. Tip número 5. Play a song and dance a little. I know it sounds a bit weird, but the truth is you have been sitting all day. So you need to make sure that you are fully energized, fully prepared for this interview, and you need to move your body. It's gonna make you feel more loose when you're in the interview. You're gonna show your best because you are fully recharged, full with energy, and ready to slay. So make sure to bring your A game to the interview. Bonus tips if you also brush your teeth before the interview. Because when you brush your teeth, something in your mind happens that is gonna make you feel more confident when you speak, because you know your breath is amazing and you can just talk forever and it's not gonna be bad. So that feeling can also be translated to an interview because you are ready to talk, you are ready to be heard, and that's gonna notice in the other side of the screen. So yeah, those 2 tips are gonna help you win your A game to any interview you enter. Tip número 6. Add a recap at the end. And here comes handy having a notebook again. So after this interview, you need to tell them a summary of what you talk about and the questions that were answered and all of that. And also, what are the next steps after this call? And the next steps could be, for example, that you will create a detailed proposal, that they will give you the login info, you will send a screenshot, whatever it is, make sure is adding a proper conclusion to the meeting and that everything that needed to be said was said. Tip número 7 and final tip. Have a good Wi-Fi. I know that when you're working from your house Wi-Fi, your options are limited, but I'm gonna give you a few tips on how to make sure your Wi-Fi works better, even if you don't have the option to increase your Wi-Fi or purchase another plan. So my first tip with this is to choose a video calling platform that is not too heavy and that is easy to load. So for example, in my case, I know that whenever I use Skype, my computer gets so slow. Same with Zoom. So I usually suggest my clients or to people to use Upwork, which is an online video call that allows you to screen share, have like several people in the room, and it's even branded with your name. And yeah, so it loads very fast and it looks very professional. And if they do have a problem with that, your concern that you want to make sure the Wi-Fi is great and you have had troubles in the past with Zoom or Skype, and you will really prefer this other platform. And the good thing is, they don't need to download it. So if they already have a set platform that they use for the interviews, just voice your concerns and tell them that you want to make sure your Wi-Fi is good. And the best platform to do that is XYZ. Okay? And I'm sure they will understand. Plus, if you actually use a PRN, or whereby, as they're called now, they don't have to download anything. So they don't have anything to lose besides just going to a URL. Another thing you can do is to restart your computer before any video call. You're just gonna give the computer a clean start and erase any cache, any heavy files, and just open the video platform that you need to use. So if at some point your Wi-Fi dies, you have your data plan as a backup. And even if it's gonna spend all the data, that's better compared to losing the client just because your video was freezing the whole time. Other thing you can do is to have downloaded in your phone the video app and the video program they are going to use in your phone. That way, in case your computer freezes or at some point it crashes and stops working, they don't have to wait 10 minutes until you fix it. You can just jump on a phone call while your computer keeps restarting. And it's gonna make you look very professional because you have a backup plan in case something goes wrong. On the other hand, if you know that your Wi-Fi is shitty all the time and you can afford it, try to go and schedule all your interviews and sales calls during one day that you can go to a co-working space with good Wi-Fi, or a coffee shop or a library, whatever it is. Make sure it has great Wi-Fi that you can rely on, and that way you don't have to be scared of your Wi-Fi dying or something terrible happening. You have the possibility to actually have a reliable internet source. And if you are traveling, if you are a digital nomad enjoying your traveling lifestyle, what you can do is to try to book Airbnbs or hostels with really great Wi-Fi, or if they have available a coffee nearby or a co-working space. Because the truth is, at the end of the day, all the tips that I gave you before are not gonna matter if your face keeps freezing and they cannot understand what you're saying, and your audio keeps cutting off because your Wi-Fi is terrible. So really, try to find a good Wi-Fi because it's gonna make such a big difference in your sales calls and in your freelancer career. So yes, trust me on this one again. Find a good Wi-Fi. It's gonna make such a big difference in your freelance career. Trust me. So that was it, guys. I hope you enjoy it and you're gonna apply all these tips in your next interview calls. And let me know in the comments below which tips you enjoy the most and which one are you trying to learn or to apply, and yeah, just let me know in the comments. And here's your gift. So make sure to go to the descriptions where I have the link and you can download this workbook. It's gonna help you so much in your freelance career, so make sure to check it out. Finally, make sure to subscribe if you like this video and hit the notification bell, because in the next video I'm gonna talk about how to become a more qualified freelancer, and it's not only about your skills and it's not only about your English level. Make sure to check it out, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!